So the first slide we are looking at now will not take us much time, maybe probably 30 minutes or 45 minutes while we share the second slide. So that will be rest assured by next week you can cover the entire syllabus so that we can now start to do revisions and solve past questions. Okay, to start with, our lectures today centers on social responsibility. This is the second aspect of the social responsibility that ICAN require that we should know. You know, if you can recall, we have discussed on corporate social responsibility about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that is more or less part one of the social responsibility. So this part two now just discuss about the shareholders theory, social theory, stakeholders theory, and then we have the 7 classification of ethical stance on social responsibility. So at the same time, we have Johnson and Scholes cultural web, and Johnson and Scholes. Apart from the Johnson and Scholes cultural web, we have the Johnson and Scholes 4 ethical stance too. So that's what we are looking at in this first slide, which happens to be the second aspect of corporate social responsibility. So to start with, you know, the business entity operates within the society and they interact with their local community. So that means all corporate organizations, business enterprises, be it local or international, they operate within the society. And it is this society that give them the opportunity and access to the resources, labor, manpower, and many more. Due to that, business entities are expected to be socially responsible to their local communities. The local community refers to the employees, customers, suppliers, including the government, where the company, the entity operates. So that informs us that social responsibility is not only directed to the host community. That was the perception that majority of people have. That anytime we are talking of social responsibility, corporate social responsibility, it just means to give borehole, pipe-borne water, infrastructure facility, transformer, support for electricity to the society. No, even all the stakeholders, shareholders within the company too, they are part of people that must benefit from social responsibility of the organization. So therefore, corporate social responsibility, like I told you, refers to the voluntary responsibilities or obligations that the company decided to do to better the life of the society without exploiting the society and without any fallacious claims that we call greenwashing. Because there are some companies that they don't actually do any corporate social responsibility and they will lie. We are going to have that CSR report in their AGM or corporate disclosure. That is unethical. So stakeholders theory, shareholders theory. What do we call shareholders theory? Shareholders theory simply means the theory that advocates that the objective of being in business is to make and maximize profit and increase the wealth of the shareholders. With the shareholders theory, what this theory is emphasizing is that corporate organizations are established to protect the interests of the shareholders, manage their portfolio of investment profitably, and see to how the shareholders' wealth will increase. So the advocates of this shareholders theory, they are of the view that corporate social responsibility is not necessary since the companies are paying all their dues, they are paying taxes, and they are employing staff from the society, they are adding value to their career growth. So shareholders theory majorly focus on the satisfaction of the shareholders who are the owners of the company, because they feel they are the risk bearer, they are the risk seeker that invest their money in a business. So whatever benefit that comes there should be for the shareholders alone. So contrarily, on the other hand, the stakeholders theory now more or less split into corporate organizations, that the idea that everything that comes in as a form of reward revenue should be for the shareholders alone, that perception should change. That is the position of the stakeholders theory. Because the stakeholders theory is of the view that all the company's director, you can say the company's director, owe a duty to all major stakeholders in the company, including not just the employees and customers, but also to the what? The community and the society. What does that mean? The stakeholders theory affirm that it is not only the shareholders' interest that should be protected, that companies have the obligation to be socially responsible to the welfare of their employees, welfare of their customers, suppliers, distributors, the society as a whole, and the government too. That it is expected of companies to complement the efforts of the government of the country where they are operating. That is the position of the stakeholders theory without wasting much of time. So next, we have social contract theory. The social contract theory of corporate governance, the theory is based on the view that members of the society give legal recognition to a company. Take attention of that. The social contract theory stated that the members of the society give legal recognition to a company. Apart from that, they allow the company to exist and act as a legal person within the society. Thirdly, they allow a company to use land and resources and to hire members of the society as employees. So what will now happen? The company, therefore, has an obligation to pursue the objective of making profit only in a way that will also enhance the material well-being of the society as a whole. That is where we are going. So, in summary, and to simplify what we have read, the social contract theory is saying that there is a social contract between the society, or what we call the community, and the company. That this symbiotic relationship, both parties must play their roles. They are saying that one, the society that we refer to as the community give the company an opportunity to register their company, opportunity to acquire land or rent an office, opportunity to employ labor from the society, opportunity to use all the basic infrastructures, electricity, and other resources from the society. And apart from that, even the society is patronizing the company by their products and their services. That means society has played their role. So they're now saying that since the society has played their role, then the company therefore has an obligation to pursue objective of making profit, only not in a way that will enhance the material well-being of the society as a whole. They're now saying that the company is expected to play its own role by making significant positive impact on the society. They have to be socially responsible to the society. So all the profit they are realizing, part of this money, certain amount of money should be set aside for contribution to the society through social responsibility. So that is the position of the social contract theory. So having looked at that, we quickly look at Johnson and Scholes' 4 possible ethical stance for a business entity. This part of the major requirement of the syllabus. It comes out occasionally too, and the marks allotted might be 3 marks, it might be 4, 5 marks, or 7 marks that you should write on the 4 ethical stands of Johnson and Scholes. So the Johnson and Scholes 4 ethical stands centers on the following. The number one is this: one, maximizing short-term shareholders' interests. That's the first ethical stance. And according to this scholar, he said maximizing short-term shareholders' interest is the least ethical stance. I'll tell you the reason why. Let's look at this. This stance primarily prioritizes the immediate financial gains and interests of the shareholders. What does that mean? It means that any board of directors, corporate organizations, or CEO, including the shareholders, that have the mindset of short-term gains, short-term interest, he said this time of ethical stand is not the best for the company, but it shows that the company just have a focus for profit motive at the short run without making provision for long-term gains. They are now of the view that any company, any directors, any individual business enterprises that have the interest of short-term gains, such people are not making provision for long-term sustainability for the company. And since you don't have provision for long-term sustainability of the company, this approach will tend to overlook broader societal implications, environmental concern, and the well-being of other shareholders. So they are saying that, in summary, having a short-sighted, profit-oriented gains for short time, we made the company not to be socially responsible. It will make the company not to pay attention to environmental sustainability and protection. And it will make the company to neglect the well-being of other stakeholders. So meaning that priority for short-time gains or interest is not the best. The second ethical stance, which is one of the best that we can have, is maximizing long-term shareholders' interest. By this we mean that the long time by this we mean that the sustainable view of maximizing shareholders' value will be achieved. That board of directors, shareholders, CEOs, the executive directors, non-executive directors, their priority should be to set a long-time goals, long-time profitable goals that will increase the value of the company, that will increase the profitability of the company, that will bring about high return on investment, huge return on capital employed. That when you set a long-time goal, then it will give the company opportunity to seek beyond short-time gains. So that can be seen in this statement here, that the maximization of long-term goals is involved considering a broader range of factors beyond immediate short-term financial gains. You can see. So some of the broader things that we are going to consider by the time we have a maximizing long-term goals is that focus on the long-term goals will give us opportunity to prioritize environmental sustainability goals, social responsibility, and maintaining positive relationship with various stakeholders, because we have put in place provision for those things in our long-time going concern. So the third ethical stance is multiple stakeholders obligation. That's the third one. Multiple stakeholders obligation. So with this multiple stakeholders obligation, let me just summarize it. The multiple stakeholders obligation is saying that the company should be responsible to both the stakeholders and the shareholders. Because this stance, these ethical stance acknowledge and emphasize the responsibility of the company towards various stakeholders group beyond shareholders. That has answered the question. That the multiple stakeholders obligation will give the company to accommodate provisions, welfares, support to the stakeholders and the shareholders. So priority will not be on the shareholders alone. That is what we call multiple stakeholders obligation. All our support staff, the employees, the vendors, the distributors, our financial institutions, the government, the host community, all of them will be duly accommodated in our social responsibility welfare. So that we'll be able to balance all the competing interests. The third ethical stance is to be a shaper of the society. So being a shaper of the society is telling companies that one of their major existence is for them to engage in societal responsibility. So being a shaper of the society means that the companies have to fulfill their socioeconomic role. Look at it. It involves the actively contributing to shaping a better society beyond merely fulfilling economic roles. So being a shaper of the society here means that we should work towards creating job opportunity, contribution to entrepreneurship development, sport development, agricultural development, tax payment. Because by the time you pay tax, it will give government opportunity to generate revenue so that they can be able to execute their fiscal and monetary policy. So company must be a shaper of the society. Those are the four ethical stands of Johnson and Scholes. So the second one that we have is the cultural web. The cultural web too was developed by Johnson and Scholes. So by that cultural web, the cultural web is used within the organization to identify the understanding and commitment of the company staff towards the cultural web, towards the company culture, the understanding and adherence to the company philosophy, the understanding and adherence of the staff towards the company code of conduct and ethical standards. So the cultural web comprises of 6 elements. The 6 elements of cultural web are: 1, routines and rituals. So the routines and rituals is not the normal rituals that we do sacrifice, taking calabash up and down. No. The rituals means that the operational way of doing things regularly within the company. The established procedures. That's what we mean routine and rituals. So the routine and rituals as one of the elements of the cultural web refers to the ways things are done within and around the company. Individual employees must get used to established way of doing things. That means the daily activities of the company, the daily procedures, the daily do's and don'ts of the company, the mode of operation of the company. That is what we call routine and ritual. It is expected of the company's employees to know this, be it the newly employed one that has been inducted or the existing staff. 2, stories and myths. The stories and myths means that the company must ensure all their staffs are acquainted, they are knowledgeable about the important stories and myths in the company. Because these stories and myths we discuss about the historical development of the company. When the company was established, things are happening when they diversify or merge or acquire another company, some events that occur in the company. So all these stories, they help the company staff to know the historical background of the company, to know the factors that bring about changes in the company, and the direction for future aspirations. So these stories and myths is a very good element that we can use, because it will be so bad of our staff not to know knowledge about the history of the company. It's a must, they have to know it. Another element is symbols, which is important. Our staffs must know the symbol of the company. By the symbol of the company, we mean the company color, the company logo, the company motto. Is that understood? That's what we call the symbol of the company. The company brand, our brand sign, brand mark, trademark. They are all symbols of the company. Apart from that, we have the power structure, which is number 4 element of the cultural web, as stated by Johnson and Scholes. The power structure means the hierarchy of positions and power, the reporting style, the chain of command, method of communication, or giving authority in the organization. All our staff should know that power two in these organizations are hen, that the position of power is on merit, that the company rewards committed staff that have passions in the organization. That power in the company is not all that influence, but it's based on expertise, experience, and commitment, promotion, and appraisal. So the power structure will tell us the chain of command, the reporting style, the hierarchy of authority in the organization. And at the same time, we have our organization structure. The organization structure talks about the monogram of the company, the bureaucracy of decision making, departmentalization in the company, the strategic business unit, and all these units, how they work together, how they adapt to bring about synergy and common achievement of goals. So the last element of the cultural web is control system. So by the control system, it means the means of performance measurement, evaluation of performance, reward system within the organization, including coordination of activities. Because without effective control, absolutely nothing can be achieved. So the essence of this control measure is to control both human and material resources, evaluate our performance, and reward the system. So these are the 6 elements of Johnson and School cultural web. So next we look at the 7 position on social responsibility. So this 7 position on social responsibility, I will simplify it for you in a very simple way. So the 7 position on social responsibility is just talking about the diverse view, disagreement about corporate social responsibility. We have some school of thoughts or scholars that of the view that CSR is not all that essentials. CSR is not necessary because the priority of the company is beyond taking out of their limited revenue they are earning to discharge corporate social responsibility again. So the 7 position of social responsibility was given by Gray, Owen, and Adams. There is no way the examiner will set this question without mentioning the name of this scholar. So once you see it, that discuss briefly on Gray, Owen, and Adams 7-level classification on ethical or social responsibility. So what should come to your mind is all this view, different perspective of CSR that you want to discuss, that you be your answers. So according to Gray, Owen, and Adams, some of the 7 positions on 7-level classification on CSR are this. The first one, pristine capitalist. You can arrange it anyhow as it comes to you or comes to your mind in exam. The first one is pristine capitalist. So the pristine capitalist, listen and listening effectively. I might not use a cursor to start reading it out and what have you. I don't really like that style of lecture. And the very reason why at times I use ink, different ink to highlight important points for you. So just listening. The pristine capitalist, this position is dominant in the world, particularly in the area of CSR and corporate governance. With these pristine capitalists, their own view is this. They said the only responsibility of a company is to make money for its shareholders and to maximize shareholders' wealth. All other things that you have is additional things that are added for you. So the pristine capitalist view, they are of the view that to them, CSR should not be pronounced, all because they are paying tax and dues for the government, and they are expecting the government to use this money to contribute to socio-economic development of the country. So with pristine capitalist view, they said that, look at this, pristine capitalism, they said the responsibility of the directors of the company is to maximize profit, manage portfolio of investment, make profits, and that profit and return on investment should be used to expand the business of the shareholders. Because the shareholders, they have invested risk capital. You have it here. Now the shareholders have invested risk capital, their sweat capital. At times they make losses. So due to that, anything that comes in should be for the shareholders, not to be using the money for charitable donation. Two, the expedient view. The expedient view, let me try here. The expedient view said that individuals who have an expedient view also believe that the main aim of a company is to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. By this, they agree with the pristine capitalist view, which is number one. But however, look at this. However, some concessions have to be made at times to other stakeholders in order to put the company in a stronger position strategically. What does that mean? The expedient view agree totally with the pristine view that the interests of the shareholders alone should be protected. But they now have a consideration that, but if instances arises that the company should give out to the society, the company should reward the stakeholders, that they should do so, but there is nothing bad in that. They now say if they are to do that too, it will give them stronger position strategically. That stronger position strategically means that giving out to the society will give you brand equity, good reputation. It will increase your competitiveness. You are going to have a good relationship with the society, the government, and it will attract other investors. That's the view of the expedient view. The third one is proponent of the social contract. Let us see our social contract view. Thank God I've explained social contracts for you before we get to this stage of the lecture. So in the social contract view, the social contract view says that there is a social contract between the society and the company, because the society give the company land, labor, resources, water, electricity, security. They buy their product. They have tried for the company. So it is expected the company to discharge their own social responsibility by making provision for job, electricity support, security support, agricultural support, sport development support, and many more. So social contract says that the two parties have role to play. Society have played their role, let the company play their own role too. So we have the fourth one, which is social ecologist theory. The social ecologist theory, the individual taking this position are concerned for the social environment. Why? Your answer lies there. This is your answer for social ecologist theory. The social ecologist theory believe that companies are not that large organization. Those are the multinational companies, conglomerate companies, or whatever. They said they are the one causing social and environmental problems. And it is true. All their big trailers that they use to load roads and go and deliver to customers at different destinations will spoil our road. Some of them that are doing into mining and extractive industry, they are the one that pollute the sea. You are unable to fish, different kind of pollutions and many more. They are saying that their activities is causing environmental menace. Due to that, they must be a shaper of the society by contributing to environmental sustainability and protection, including the welfare of the people living in the society. The next one we have is socialist view. So the socialist view is stating that the company did not have any excuse not to be socially responsible. They say it's not welcome because majority say they said these individuals are own believe in socialist view that there should be a significant readjustment in the ownership of assets and in the structure of the society. Let me help you to simplify that. What that statement is saying is that no, they must be responsible, be it the foreign complaints or the local indigenous complaint, all of them must be responsible because they are the one that accumulates the wealth and resources of this nation. That the likes of Dangote, Bua, PZ, and what have you, all those people that have mighty complaints, all the assets and resources of this complaint belongs to them. And this is a thing that all of us are supposed to benefit. So the more they have accumulated the wealth and resources of this nation in their own hands and their various pockets, then they should use part of this money to be socially responsible. If they are not ready to be socially responsible, let us protest. Let there be strike so that we can start from the scratch, collect those assets from them, then we redistribute it. So they are saying that both government and all complaints owner, they must be responsible for the protection of the society and welfare of the people that is living there. The radical feminist view, the sixth one. So the radical feminist view, they are saying that there should be gender balance. There should be gender balance. And most of the policy of the government should favor the female gender too. Because they believe that the individuals that preoccupy the economic sector of this nation and globally, they are more or less male counterparts. So they say this individual believe that society and the social system are dominated by aggressive masculine view of the world. And they say this is harmful and wrong. Let women too make contributions in terms of governance. Because they said there's an argument need for more feminine value. All our policies should have a woman face because the women too, they have vital contributions that they can make towards economic viability. So the last seven classical view is deep ecologist view that we also call deep green view. What this deep ecology is saying is that the deep ecology is against the pristine view. The pristine view says that nothing like CSR. It's only the interest of the shareholder that should be protected. They said no. Look at this. The deep ecology, these individuals are the opposite extreme to pristine capitalists. They believe that human beings have no greater right to existence than any other form of life. So what they are not saying is this, their summary is this, that ethical decision should be based on concern for all forms of life, that all the CSR of the company should cover everything, both for human and non-human. All the forest, when you deforest, you must do afforestation. Plant the tree, plant another tree, contribute to animals development, contribute to sport development, all areas of human endeavor, the CSR of the company should cover it. So that is the view of Gray, Owen, and Adam about seven classical view on CSR. I think lastly in this slide, what we have here is Shin. We have Shin, three level of culture. Shin, Ega Shin, three level of culture. So the three level of culture, apart from the preambles that we have, are divided into three. According to Shin, can say that we have three levels of culture that members of an organization acquire. So the three levels are the outer skin level, the inner layer, and the art. What is the meaning of this? According to Egashin, the first level of organization culture is what we call outer skin. That after skin is something that you know it is simple. All the scholars they would like a name, to add value to their theories. The after skin simply means those things that we can see outside the company, the environment of the company, the structure of the company, the safety measure that we put in place. These are the things that we call the after skin. Let's go together. At one level, the culture of the company is evidence in what an observer can see. Can you see? What you and I can see by visiting the company and in the value that it is state. So, for you to know what we call a after skin, this is the answer. The facilities and surrounding in which the employees work help to create culture. That means that facility that you are seeing there and the surroundings of the company, they are what we call outer skin. So that facilities must be adequate, the surroundings must be appealing and conducive for business. The surroundings of the company, both in and out, must guarantee safety to all the employees, shareholders, stakeholders, and the customers. That is what we call the outer skin. What we can see, the physical things, facilities around. So the inner skin now, the inner layer, this is the inner skin. So the inner layer talks about what the employees of the company can talk or see about the company. So in terms of the inner layer, so we are not talking of what products and services are we producing, what are the facilities that we have, what is our mode of operations, so what is our supply chain, is there any interrelation in our activities across all the departments. These are what we call inner layer. In fact, our code of conduct that we call ethics is part of our inner layer. Our policy, our procedure, our strategies. You can see this layer of culture, they are referring to inner layer there. This layer of culture can be seen in the ethical stance that the company takes. So that is what we call the inner layer. In fact, our mode of recruitment is part of our inner layer. While the art of the company, which is the third layer, the third level of culture, is a company paradigm. So this one talks about the art of the company, talks about the share value, the cultural web of the company, the vision and mission statement, the strategies of the company. We go further, you see that this is a term for the shared assumptions and attitude about what really matters in the company. So the art of the company refer to the core value, philosophy, mission and vision statement. So all these things, we must not toy with them. And all our staff must work collectively towards achieving the art of the company. So this is where we are going to end for this particular lecture based on slide 1. Is there any question before we proceed to slide 2? Assume this is understood, my scholar. Ayola, Jacinta, and the other third caller. Hope it's understood. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Jacinta, can we proceed to the second slide?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Bless you. Okay, the second slide that we are looking at is part of the note I gave you. I think that was upper week. And I knew some of us who have not looked at it, and I promise that those areas that we are unable to discuss about, which I knew because of your tight schedule of work, you'll not be able to look at it. And we don't want to take chances. So the very reason why I have to revisit is to ensure that this aspect of the syllabus are well covered. So my conscience too will be there, and the management too will know that we have fulfilled all righteousness because your success is paramount to us. So the second one, we are looking at the basic structure of a business plan. This hardly comes out. Anytime it comes out, they will just tell you to list the basic structure of a business plan. It varies. In some textbooks and what have you, you might see it that it might not be as comprehensive or detailed as this. So, but normally a standard business plan should have this structure or layout. One, the first structure is the title page. Two, we have the table of content. Three, the introduction aspect should be there. We have four, our executive summary. Five, the body of the report, business description, the business environmental analysis. We have to look at the internal analysis, particularly focus on the external analysis. And I have informed you that anytime you are discussing on external analysis in this particular ICAN exam, we use that PESTEL framework. PESTEL, PESTEL, that political analysis, economic analysis, social analysis, technological analysis, ecological analysis, and legal analysis. So the industry background about the companies, their preambles, their portfolio, area of diversification, scope of operation, we look at it, and our competitors analysis. So majorly in the competitors analysis too, we use Porter 5 forces model to analyze our major competitors. And don't forget that we have discussed about competitors analysis. So the reading have to start now. Because in the competitors analysis, I told you that Michael Porter said we have 5 forces model that we can analyze our competitors. That is one, the threat of a new entrant. Two, we have availability of substitute products. We have three, the degree of rivalry among major competitors. Four, we have bargaining power of suppliers, and the fifth one is bargaining power of the buyer. So all these things we have to start knowing them offhand. So the market analysis, the management summary, financial plan of the company, conclusion and recommendation. So with this, we have finished our business plan. So we just put the appendix, detailed financial information, and CV of key management, which is optional. So now we go to balance scorecard. Balance scorecard. I always like you to know their meaning. Once you know their meaning, you can be able to write in your own simple English. You don't need to cram anything. It will enhance your reading, assimilation, retentive memory, and approach in exam. You have seen score and you see card and we see balance in front. Balance scorecard. So what do we call balance scorecard? Balance scorecard is just a method for mentioning a company activities in time of its vision and strategy. What is the meaning of that? Meaning that what we call balance scorecard is that it is a method or tool that we use to evaluate the performance of the company in terms of financial and non-financial results, so that we'll be able to know if we score high, if we score 50, if we score 60, if it is 35 we score out of 100, if it is 75 or 80, because it is extremely difficult at times to score 100. But we have some instances like that too. So balance scorecard, we just use it to evaluate, rate, assess, and make a report on the performance of the company on all the targets given to them. Do we meet the target? Do we surpass the target? Do we underperform in this productive year? That is the meaning of balance scorecard. So know that balance scorecard is just a strategic tool or method that we use to evaluate the performance of the company against the standard given. Do we meet up with the standard? Everything that we do is in line with the vision and mission statement and strategies that we say we should adopt. That is simple meaning of balance scorecard. So in our balance scorecard, we said here that balance scorecard have four important perspectives. Yes, Balance scorecard have four important perspectives. The four perspective of balance scorecard is one, how do customers see us? That is customers' perspective. Because the whole idea of being in business is because of the customers. Without customers, our existence is nothing. Without customers, there is nothing to sell, no profit to make. So we must prioritize customers' perspective. That is one. The second one is that what must be done for us to excel? What must we excel at? That is internal perspective. That our internal operational process should be excellent. From acquisition of raw materials, processing of raw materials, packaging of raw materials, branding, storage of the materials, and many more, including acquisition of skills, training of the staff is part of our internal perspective. The third perspective is, can we continue to improve and create value? Yes, we can. Through innovation, learning, technological advancement, we can continue. And that is our priority, going concern, sustainable growth, and profitability. While the last perspective is, how do we look to shareholders in terms of financial perspective? Because that's the priority of the shareholders. They have expectations, and that their expectations is for the company to be profitable. Return on investment, return on capital employed, return on asset, expansion, goodwill, all those things that the shareholders are looking for. How can we achieve those things? So those are the things that we discussed there, the customer perspective and the rest. So these are four key elements that we have discussed. The perspective, they are now the ones that I elaborated here, because I've already tell you the key things that we have. So the key element or perspective of the balance scorecard are, I don't expect you to forget easily because I just listed them now. Internal operational perspective, innovation and learning perspective, financial perspective, and customers perspective. So let's now look at them one by one, the key important things that I put there. The internal business perspective. We said the internal business perspective answer the question, what must we excel at? So for a company to excel, for a company to achieve their intended purpose, for a company to have a strong competitive advantage, for a company to be relevant in the industry and gain competitive position, and for their brand to be recognized with equity, that company must excel in some areas. That area is customer-based measurement. That's the first thing. We must prioritize customers. That's what we call customer centricity. All our strategies, focus, policy, vision and mission statements, procedures, everything must center on customer satisfaction. Apart from that, look at this, our yellow ink. We must excel at all factors that affect cycle time. That cycle time means the lead time, the time it will take us to produce a product and deliver to our customers. We must excel at producing quality products and rendering qualitative service delivery. Our company must excel at employee skills, training, manpower development, and many more. This will improve their skills, attitude, knowledge, and ability. And we must excel at enhanced productivity. We must excel at total quality management. All those things that are important. You can add this too. You are scholars. The second one is innovation and learning perspective. And that innovation and learning perspective, I told you, is all about value creation and sustainability. And our innovation and learning perspective is telling us that the company must be innovative. The essence of that innovative is for us to gain competitive success. Everything is there. You can see innovative and success is important for competitive success. Innovative and success And innovative and learning is important for advancement in technology. It is important to improve our capability and core competency. So, an innovative and learning will bring about this. It will bring about launching of new products and creation of more value to our customers when we innovate. And above all, when you see it will give us opportunity to penetrate a new market. We expand and increase what? Revenues and margins. Innovation and technology and learning, they are key to achievement of competitive success. The financial perspective of the company, we have told you that that is the priority of the stakeholders. The only way we can make our stakeholders happy is for the company to be profitable. We have to ensure that under the financial performance, the company strategy formulation, the implementation of the strategy, evaluation, control, and execution of the strategy must do what? Must contribute to profitability, growth, and shareholders' value. Once we have done that, then in our balance scorecard, we pass. So we now have the customer's perspective. We have talked about this. The customer's perspective means customer centricity. Our focus should be on delivering qualitative service delivery to our customers so that their post-purchase experience will be favorable. When customers have a positive perception about our company, they will buy again. They will patronize us again. From that, they will have recognition and association with our brand. They will develop loyalty. They will recommend our product or services to another person. So once we do that, we have passed in our balance scorecard. Okay, next we look at the performance pyramid. When I send this note to you, I don't know if anybody open it. Maybe Ayola, Jensita, and what have you open it. So the performance pyramid, is telling us that all companies operate at different level. And this different level too, they have different objectives, goals, and concerns to achieve. Despite the fact that companies operate at different level, different units, different departments, the performance pyramid means that they must integrate together, irrespective of division of work, division of labor. We must ensure that all of us as a department in the organization, we work towards achieving the same collective goals. That is what the performance pyramid is telling us. So the performance pyramid is not saying that by the time we work at different level, we now harmonize our efforts. We create synergy. We know that we are working towards the same goals. There is unity. This one will now bring about what we call customer satisfaction. Because customer satisfaction cannot be achieved by one individual or one unit or one department or one level. It is a collective responsibility. That collective responsibility, apart from bringing about customer satisfaction, it will bring about greater flexibility in the organization, and it will increase the productivity of the company and resources utilization. That is what the performance pyramid is telling us. That company operates at different level, different units, different departments. They have different strategic business units. They now say the activities of all these units must be unified. We must see ourselves as the same. There must be unity of purpose since we are in the same company. So collectively, we must achieve the same goals in order to achieve customer satisfaction, high degree of flexibility, and enhance productivity. If that one is understood, let's now look at the performance pyramid. This is the diagram for the performance pyramid that explains the definition given to you. You can see in level 1, we have corporate vision. In level 2, we have market and finance. That is at the divisional level, at departmental level. In level 3, we have customer satisfaction, flexibility and productivity that I mentioned the other time. That is the business operating system. That's our focus. And the reason why we have to unify our operation. While the last one, level 4, we have quality delivery, cycle time, and waste. So all these different levels has been explained. Let's now look at the level 1, 2, 3, 4. Just, you can see that I give you just a very short, brief explanation, answer to them. So what we have in level 1 is that level 1 comprises of the top management of the company. And by now, without mentioning what we should know that the top management of the companies are the shareholders of the company, the board of directors, the appointed CEOs or chairmen. They are the one that formulate strategies, the company vision and mission statement that will create a strategic path for achievement of our long-term goals and competitive advantage. So we can see at the top of the organization, is the corporate vision and mission through which the organization describe how it will achieve the long-term success and competitive advantage. That is level 1. That is establishment of the company vision and mission statement and our statement of intention and how we can achieve our long-term success and goals and gain competitive advantage. So in our level 2 now says that to achieve our vision and mission statement, the marketing and financial success must be aligned with level 1, meaning that the vision and mission statement of the company can only be achieved through effective marketing. The company have to be very, very aggressive in the utilization of their marketing mix, marketing strategies. That when they use all these marketing strategy, then it will bring about financial gains. So at the divisional level, the marketing and financial play a pivotal role in achieving the corporate level. That is what the diagram is saying. So in level 3 is not saying that, see, the marketing and financial strategy that we set as level 2 must be linked to what we have in level 3. Must be linked to 1, achievement of customer satisfaction, increased flexibility and productivity. So you don't need to panic or fear that how can I interpret this table. So our marketing and financial strategy, if well implemented, it will help us to achieve level 3 objective, which are customer satisfaction, organizational flexibility, productivity, and many more. While the last one that we have is level 4. So the level 4 is saying that the status of level 3 forces can be monitored using the lower level departmental indicator. So what they are saying is that our customer satisfaction, flexibility, and productivity should bring about production of quality products, effective and timely delivery, reduction of lead time, and waste management. That's a very simple thing about the performance pyramid. Performance pyramid is very, very, very simple. But when you call, first of all, see the name you see and drawing, you'll be scared. How will I know this? Very simple. So next we have the Fitzgerald and Moon building block model. Fitzgerald and Moon building block model. This building block model here is different from uh, Misbag 5 building block model. Is different. We have come across and we have discussed about Misbag 5 building block model. Even in the notes I see sent to you, you will see is there a Misbag 5 building block model that talks about the strategic apex, the operating core, the technostructure, the support staff, and middle line. Those are the Misbag 5 building block. But this one is Fitzgerald and Moon building block model. It's not 5, it's just 3. It's just 3 things. So this Fitzgerald and Moon building block model is more applicable in the service industry. Though some companies that produce tangible products too, you can use this model too for analysis. It's fantastic. It's relevant. So the Fitzgerald and Moon is more applicable, according to the scholar. He said many organizations provide services rather than products. And there are many examples of services industry, which we all know: the hotel, entertainment industry, hospitality industry, the holiday and resort industry, traveling industry. Then I say that to achieve strategic objective in this industry, it is always good for the company to use Fitzgerald and Moon building block model that is divided into three. Say, the Fitzgerald and Moon 1996 provided a framework for analyzing performance management system in the service industry. And they are now saying that for you to improve and analyze the performance management in the service industry, it is always good to use the three building blocks that were postulated by Fitzgerald. So the three building blocks are: one, I've told you they are just three: dimension, standard, and reward. You can code it DSR or RSD or SDR, whichever way you like it. So again, I re-emphasize, the Fitzgerald and Moon three building blocks are dimensions, standard, and reward. So the dimension just inform us that for us to manage our performance very well, there should be a six dimension of performance management. So under the dimension, the six dimension that we can use to enhance our performance and measure how effectively that we have performed are: one, profit performance. Competitive, how competitive are we? What is our competitive position? Are we the market leader, the market challengers, market followers, or market niche? The quality of our product and service delivery, resources utilization and waste management, and flexibility and innovation. These are part of the elements that we use to measure the dimension of performance of organization, individual, business, enterprise, and minimum. Apart from the dimension of performance, so we have it in diagrammatic illustration there. The performance of the company using the dimension, we said we use profit, competitive, quality, resource utilization, flexibility, and innovation. Be it present and past performance, we can be rest assured that the performance of a company, result of the past or present, can be measured by financial performance and competitiveness. So anytime we are measuring performance, please, these are the elements we use. Again, profit, competitiveness, quality, resource utilization, flexibility, and innovation. So under dimension. So let's look at the other elements that we have. You can see the tabular form I gave you, the dimension. We have the performance, competitiveness, service quality, flexibility, resource utilization, and innovation to enhance our reading. Apart from the dimension now, the second element under the building block of Fitzgerald and Moon is the standard. So that standard have some set objective that we have to set. That must be standard in our ethics, standard in our mode of operation, and that standard must guarantee commitment of the staff. The staff of the company must own the standard. They must be ready to accomplish that standard, task and responsibility given to them. So under the standard, there are three aspects to setting standard. In fact, there are more than three aspects. Because the aspect of standard setting is this. Look at this. One, to what extent do individuals feel that they own the standard that will be used to assess their performance? That to what extent the staff accept these our laid down strategies, standard of accomplishing our goals and objectives. Do they accept this standard? If the individual employees accept the standard, fine, automatically it's a blessing to the company because they will be more committed in achieving the standards and goals. Two, do they accept the standard as their own? Do they? That day means that do the employee accept the standard as their own, that is their responsibility to achieve this standard for the company? If the employees accept the standard, then there will be enhanced productivity, commitment, efficiency, and there won't be anything like redundancy or idleness. Three, in the standard, do they feel do they feel that the standards have been imposed on them by senior management? Anytime they feel that we have imposed the standard on them, then it will kill their morale. Because imposition means that they are not accepting that standard, that responsibility task willingly. So we must have a good leadership style, management by objective style, democratic style. It should not be autocratic style. If you impose it on them, you might not get the best result from the workers. And at the long run, this one will have adverse negative effect. Willingly, they must accept the standard. The fourth one, do individuals responsible for achieving the standard, that is the employee, achieving the standard of performance, consider that these standards are achievable or not? If they consider that the standards are not achievable, that means the standard is too high. That means the standard objective is not set within the framework of SMART. Because all our standard objective and standard must be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. But if they felt that it is achievable, then automatically they will work towards achieving it and it will be accomplished. So we must set a standard that is achievable or attainable. So these are the things that we call under standard measurement of performance. And the last one is reward. So in the reward is the third aspect of Fitzgerald and Moore performance measurement framework. That is the third aspect. So therefore, all individuals must be duly rewarded for their performance, for their commitment. We must fulfill our promises that our company have a reward system for rewarding high-performing and committed staff. So long the staff have seen is that the standards is their own, they have accepted the responsibility, and so they must be rewarded with their salary, with bonus, with incentives, and other motivational package that the company have designed for them. So this one will further enhance their commitment, motivation, and acceptance of more standard. So next we have strategic change.
Let me give this water.
What is it? Hello? Hello, I'm listening. Okay. Sorry for that little distraction. So next we have strategic change. In the strategic change, uh, we all know that change is very important in the organization, particularly when it is a significant positive change that can improve the performance and achievement of goals in the organization. And anytime we are talking of a change is a collective responsibility of the management and the employees. And despite the fact that change is important, employees in a company, they normally resist it. They don't like implementation of new changes due to one reason or the other. We are going to come across it. So we have different types of change. Planned change. Planned change is a proactive change. It's something that is deliberate to bring about positive changes in the company. That's what we call planned change, proactive. They are designed deliberately or intended change to bring about positive changes in the company. Unplanned change. Unplanned change means reactive changes. We don't plan for it. They can even come as a result of the emergency situation, such as changes in competitors' action and reactions, introduction of a new product by the competitors, which we felt can bring about snatching of our customers, or it can be unfavorable government policy. Those are what we call unplanned change. So another time that we need to know is incremental change. Anytime there is incremental change, that is a gradual or minor changes in the company policy, mode of operations, and what have you. That is incremental change. But when we are talking of transformational change means a major changes. At times it can be a holistic changes in the company procedure or policy. That is what we call transformational change. So apart from that, we have some other preambles. We have triggers of change, because you have to know all these terms. Triggers. When they ask you what are the triggers of change, the triggers of change means that what are those factors that drive a company, that force a company to implement new changes. Those are the things that we call triggers of change. And that triggers of change, it can be internal and it can be external. So look at here, I put the external triggers for change. The external triggers for change are caused by changes in the environment. That means the environmental dynamism can bring about external triggers of change, particularly when that changes in the environment bring about a threat to our existence, threat to our profitability, threat to our market relevance. So the external triggers of change can come from the person. Thank God we are mentioning today the political environment, environmental, economic forces, sociocultural forces, technology, ecological, and legal. So these are the what we have here that we have discussed even under business environment. So the political reason can bring about triggers of change. Economic reason can bring about it, maybe inflation, supply of money, unemployment, the forces of demand and supply. Under the sociocultural, religion is there, religion, culture is there, changes in the lifestyle of the people can bring about changes, technological changes can bring about introduction of new equipment, introduction of new products, and many more. So ecological changes, you can see the climatic changes now. Climatic changes, we have something like uh, the death rate, birth rate, all of them dey fall under ecological changes. The weather conditions, where the legal can be as a result of the environmental law, employment law, uh, code of corporate governance law, government regulations, constitutional provisions, CBN directives. All these ones are those things that can bring about triggers of change externally, pested. But the internal trigger for change can be change in management. It can be as a result of merger and acquisition. It can be as a result of divestment of asset of the company. Those are the internal things. The internal trigger of change can be as a result of changes in the policy of the company too, or it can be as a result of the company diversify their investments either into related or unrelated areas. So just know that the triggers of change can occur. Those forces that can bring about changes, that's what we call triggers of change. They can occur within or outside the company. So what do we call the merger? The merger means when two companies separate, while divestment means when we abandon or we stop the certain production of a product, or we close our business, divestment. You might be asked in exam that are those reasons why employees resist change. What are the reasons why employees normally oppose the implementation of new changes? That is the meaning. Reasons why employees resist change. Some of the basic reasons why employees resist change are this. One, due to lack of involvement from the onset. The policy or the memo just come out. They are not aware of these changes. It's sudden to them. The company did not communicate, and even the trade union was not involved. So they can say no, this policy will not stay. Two, another reason for resisting change is fear of job loss. That is job security. They might think that new changes might bring about loss of their job. Maybe integration of AI into their mode of operation. Automatically, it will displace some staff. It might be lack of trust in the management. They don't trust the management, or the management have implemented some previous policy or changes that all their promises was not met. So this one bring about previous ugly experience. So they don't trust the management. It might be as a result of lack of skill or ignorance about the outcome of the risks. So these are part of the reasons why employees resisting. So if the employees are resisting change, what are the mode of resistance to changes? Meaning that what are those things that they will do? What are the activities they will engage in to show their displeasure and resist the implementation of the change? We all know one of the major mode of resistance of employees is what? Strike. They can threat to go to embark on strike, or they can even embark on strike. Two, political disturbances. They can lobby top decision maker. They can write a petition to NSC, to government agency or what have you, and they can embark on demonstration. So how can we manage all these employees resistant to changes? The employees resistant to changes can be well managed through employees education and communication. Educate them, communicate from the beginning. Let them know the rationale, the reason why this new policy or changes is important. Two, we can manipulate the situation. Three, we can co-opt. Let part of those people that is resisting, their trade union and some members, to be part of the change committee. They'll be able to convince others. Collective bargaining. We can meet the trade union. Representative of the trade union and that of the management will meet to discuss about the need of this change, how it will be implemented, and the promises the management is giving them that it will not affect their job. The last option is coercion. That is the forceful implementation of the change policy. So having a look at that, we have levers of change. What do we call the levers of change? The levers of change are those things that can bring about effective implementation of new changes. So as you can see, the levers of change are part of this collective bargaining, co-opting, communication, and education. So aside that, the levers of change too is this. There should be a two-way communication, because this one will give about feedback mechanism. So the management will act as intermediary between the lower level and the top management. They can be able to resolve all these things without having any form of hindrances. And part of the levers of change is that the implementation of the changes should give some time. It shouldn't be something that is sudden. It should not be sudden. And there should be reward for the staff in a way whereby the implementation of the changes will affect them. So those are the things that we call levers of change. So for us to have that levers of change, again, you can see here, I've told you communication is key, two-way communication. Communicating a compelling aspiration. We have to communicate, that is number one. Two, building coalition. So there should be alliance between the employees and the management and the trade union. That is what we call cohort. Learning to persevere. So they have to increase the learning and the skill of the staff if the need require, and making everyone a hero. So when everyone is carried along, it will help you because they will feel important, and that change can be implemented easily. Under change management too, when you have started reading, you will have seen something like Lewin force field analysis. Lewin force field analysis that you have seen or you are seeing for the first time is simple. What Lewin is talking about is just two things. So the Lewin force field is suggested that there are two opposing forces to implementation of change. That anytime individual or company want to implement new policy or changes, there are two things that occur. It suggested that there are two opposing forces. One is the driving force. The driving force is always positive, encouraging forces that will create a drive, enthusiasm, challenge for us to implement positive things. It will create enabling environment for us to achieve our goals. While the second one is restraining forces. I take that again. The Lewins force field analysis discuss about two opposing forces in change management. The first one is one, the driving force that support the need for change. You can see, support the need for change. That's what we call driving force. And the second one, the restraining forces that oppose and resist the change. That is the employees, particularly when they are not being carried along. So those are the two things that the Lewins is talking about. And you should know that the driving force that support the need for change must be greater than the restraining force before we can be able to implement any changes. Because if the restraining forces, no, we no go gree o, we go on strike, this and that, we write the government, we write the NSC. If that restraining force is more than the driving force, it will be extremely difficult for us to implement the new changes. So that's the very reason why we must create internal harmony and ensure effective communication, coalition, involvement of all the employees and their trade unions are minimum, and all the concerned stakeholders and parties, so that our driving force will be greater than our restraining force. So when you look at this place, it will illustrate my point that change will not occur if the forces restraining the change are stronger than the driving force for the change. Yes. If the opposing forces are stronger than the driving force, you cannot achieve any change. But change is only possible when the driving force, positive forces for change, are stronger than negative restraining forces. Then we can be able to achieve our goals. So if that is understood, we have to know that according to Lewin, to implement new changes, he said the best approach is therefore to try to reduce the restraining forces against change. So the scholar now discuss again on the need to unfreeze, change, and refreeze for us to implement positive changes in the organization. He said change process comprises of three stages. The same Lewins that talks about the driving force and the restraining force, the scholar said that the change process has three stages. That is unfreeze, movement, that is implementation, and refreeze. What is unfreeze? Unfreeze means the process of unfreezing is persuading employees that change is necessary. Tell them the objective of implementing this change and the benefits that the company and the individual have to derive. In fact, we have to inform them in our unfreezing that failure to implement these changes can lead to the collapse of this company. And we don't want any of you, including I too, that is speaking on the behalf of the management, to lose our job. I've not gotten any other job elsewhere, and I don't have government appointment. It is this company job that is putting food on the table for my family. So for us not to lose this golden opportunity, the need to implement this change is necessary. And we can guarantee you and I, our job is protected. We are not losing our job to downsizing. That is unfreezing, persuading them, tell them positive things about it. The movement means the successful implementation of the same change After which we have plead to all the concerned stakeholders. We have persuaded them and they have agreed. That means our driving force is greater than opposing force. So movement means implementation of the change. In that said, when we implement the change, but we have to be very careful about reflex. It's Lewin that is saying it, not me, not Mr. Lee. Lewin says that reflex means that there is tendency that some of the staff, he said, even if the change is implemented, there is a risk that before long, employees will go back to their old way of doing things. He said we have to ensure that there is a total divorce from the old way of doing things. Let's say the implementation of the new changes is that we plan towards automating all our operational process. We don't want any manual process again. So if care is not taken, you see some units of manual that is still keeping excessive files and the rest, that we have to guide against reflexing, going back to the old way of doing things because we are human beings. Another important terminology is change agent. Pencil in yellow. Change agent means those individual or group of individuals within the company or outside the company that serve as a driving force for implementation and achievement of positive changes. Those people that help us to convince others. It might be among the staff, it might be the trade union, it might be the human resources personnel and what have you. Those are the people that we call change agents. Those people that make positive contributions to implementation of the changes in the company. And it might even be some consultants outside the company. They are also a change agent. So having looked at the Lewin's, freaks, movements, and reflex, and we have discussed about Lewin's driving and restraining force. So another scholar that make immense role and contribution under change management is Gemini. So Gemini give us a 4 R's of change element. 4 R's. So the 4 R's elements are: one, reframe. Reframe. That reframe means create the desire for change in the organization. Identify areas that need changes through your employees. Implement that changes through the employees. Achieve the positive results of the changes through the employees. Let's have a desire and vision for change. That is what we call reframe. Germany said the second R is restructure. Restructure means examine the organization structure, that the implementation of changes should come from restructuring of the organization. You redesign, you reprocess, you change some policy. So the hierarchy of authority, departmentalization, all cogent areas that need changes, we have to do it. That is what we call restructure. The third R is revitalize. Revitalize means that we change our perceptions and orientation about new changes. Let there be commitment towards innovation. Let there be commitment towards new product development. Let there be commitment towards total quality management. So let there be commitment towards performance management, customer satisfaction, and significant improvements in the organization. That is what we call revitalization. And the last R is renew. Renew. Develop individual within the organization through training, skill acquisition, motivations, and reward. That is Gemini 4R. There is no time I will have asked you if you have read about McKinsey 7 years framework, because I gave you this note. It was sent to your platform. I don't know if you have read it. So I trust you that you are going to read now that the exam is getting closer. The McKinsey 7S framework talks about organizational change and organizational culture. So, according to McKinsey, he said in any organization, we have 7X model. This 7S model help the company in the area of strategic planning and achievement of long-term goals and success. So the 7S model can be divided into three. You can see the diagrammatic representation. The 7S model can be divided into three. The first one is that we have the add element. The add element comprises of just three out of the seven. The add element comprises of the strategy of this company, the structure, that is the organization structure, and the system of the company, mode of operation. The add element again comprises of three elements: strategy, structure, and system. While the soft element comprises of shared values, skills, organization style, leadership style, and the staff, our employees. So the structure of the company is made up of the corporate hierarchy, power structure, chain of command, how we give authority, the line of command, the divisions or departmentalization in the organization. That is what we call the structure. So the system means our operational method of doing things. Just like in Johnson and School that we treated not quite long, that talks about the routine and rituals. That's what we call the system. Because look at the system. It talks about the company refers to the daily procedures of work, workflow, decision making. That's what we call the system. The shared value, that is common goals about the company. Common goals, our knowledge about the company ethics, shared values, our philosophy, collective goal setting and achievement. While the skills refers to the staff knowledge, acquisition of new knowledge and many more is very key for achieving goals and improvement in the organization. So we have to ensure talent management here, capacity utilization here, and education of the knowledge gap. Training and development is very essential there. So the style of the company. So we must choose the style of the leadership style that will bring about improved performance. Leadership style that will increase the productivity of the staff and corporate culture. We must not use authoritarian leadership style, despite the fact that we say leadership is situational. So our leadership style should be accommodating and should be uh, create opportunity for staff welfare, development, motivation, and commitment. So why the last element that we talked about that fall under the soft element is staff. That is our staff. Let's reward them. Let's pay them good salary. Let them be motivated. We provide a conducive working atmosphere for them. So what are the usefulness of the model? The usefulness of the model is that he said organization should align the seven S, the three art and four soft to achieve their achievement. That it is the combination of these seven S that company can achieve their goals. So another usefulness of the model is that the 7S model, the three ones that we call the hard element. The hard element, if you can see the call, that is the strategy, structure, and system. That one can be easily influenced by the management. It is stated somewhere there. It said the hard element that are easily influenced by the management. So, and soft elements are not. So those ones that can be easily influence and those ones that we don't have much priority over is we must ensure we put effective use for all these elements for us to achieve corporate goals and success. So another aspect where the seven key elements is important is that The model is applicable in a wider variety of situations where it is useful to understand how the various parts of the organization work together. So what we mean is that this model says that all the various parts of the companies are very, very essential. That there is no part or units of the company or divisions that is not essential. Both the soft and the hard, all of them are essential for the company. The Johnson and School, sorry, I'm sorry here. This is a repetition. We have discussed about it, that the Johnson and School comprises of 6 interrelated elements: routine and rituals, stories and myths, symbols, power structure, organization structure, and control system. So having looked at that, I think lastly is the aspect that is the cheapest, which we can also do a summary of this aspect for you because I have another class now. The functional strategy. The functional strategy that fall under chapter 8 of the syllabus. The functional strategy discuss about the need for organization to put to use all their functional departments, because all these functional departments, they have pivotal role to play. The department must exist to add value and promote a pathway for achieving the company corporate objective, both in the short, medium, and long time. So the functional strategies comprises or contribution from the following functional departments. That is finance strategy, research and development strategy, IT strategy, human resource strategy, and marketing mix strategy. So all these things are things that are very, very simple for us to know. The finance strategy now, what are the contributions of the finance strategy? The finance strategy have to ensure that they play a pivotal role in the areas of project feasibility report. They have to play a pivotal role in financial reporting and disclosure. They have to play a pivotal role in financial gains and rewards of the company. They must help in the area of budgeting. So these are part of the roles that the finance management plays. So the financial targets of the company, they play a pivotal role there. So they have to ensure they analyze the annual sales growth over a period of time. So the gross profit ratio and the net ratio, they have to look at it. The expense to sales revenue. So all major responsibilities of the finance, that is what we call financial strategy. In the areas of investment in innovation too, they have to look at that. The trending of changes, how it can affect our investment. So all the contributions of the financial management. So those are the areas where the syllabus says we should look at. And you can see, in summary too, we have the roles of the accountant in the business strategy. What are the roles of the financial strategy or finance department? They have to provide a system for recording financial transactions and prepare annual financial reports. Two, they provide management information system and procedure for decision making in the area of budgeting, investment appraisal, and many more. So that is financial strategy. In the research and development strategy, the essence of the research and development strategy is that this unit must be value adding. And part of the value they add is in the areas of innovation. Research and development strategy is needed for product renewal, adaptability, development of new products, that's number 3, developing new technology, staff development, forecasting, data and information sourcing. Those are the research and development strategy. And in the areas of entrepreneur, they need entrepreneur to supply research ideas, innovations, analyze business risks. Because as a company is expanding, we need that entrepreneurial contributions for us to be able to diversify our investment and many more. So apart from the research and development and finance that we have looked at, so in the areas of product strategy, they play a lot of role there. Under the area of capacity planning, do we have the capacity to meet the production of this product? What is demand, the total number of people demanding for this product? What are the location? Are we segmenting this product? So all these things, research help us in all these areas, in area of product resources development and many more. So in IT, what is IT? Information system strategy. This one will help us. The benefit is what we focus on there. It will help us in the area of transaction processing, managing information system, that's two. Decision support system, it helps us in that area too. Executive information system, so IT is very, very vital in any organization. So human resources strategy, which is another element under the functional strategy. This one, the human resources play a vital role to determine manpower of the company. Do we have sufficient manpower? Are we overstaffed? Are we understaffed? That is what I have here. And I'm just summarizing it now. Oh, God. So sorry about that. So it will help us to know whether we are understaffed, overstaffed, and the rest. Human resources, that's part of their function. See, assess the quantity and quality. In fact, you don't just want quantity. We have staff strength of 5,000. No, the quality, the value, the skills that those staff, their capability and potential. So the human resources must put in strategy to improve on that and identify that. And when time they are recruiting, out of the pool of the employment seeker, you must bring those people that is value adding, that have the prerequisite quality and skills required. You can see yesterday when the sitting president of Nigeria was praising the minister of interior, that despite the fact that he has criticized him over time, that when they brought his name, he appointed him as minister because of the quality, skill, talent he has. And truly, the guy has restructured the areas of our e-passport and what have you, so many things that is improvement as compared to uh, other past ministers. He has bring about automation and integration, IT, into that aspect. So we have to examine the recruitment of staff, the selection of staff, remuneration and motivation of our staff, staff induction, downsizing, downscoping. All these are HR strategy that we need in the organization. So apart from the HR strategy, then we now have marketing strategy. And you know the marketing strategy, our focus should be on the marketing mix. We all know what we call marketing mix is that marketing means the controllable element of marketing. Do you get it? That we use to influence, persuade the customers to buy our the audio recorded file. Marketing can be defined as the management process of what? Identifying customers' need and wants. But that's the first thing. You must identify the needs of the customers before you produce a product. So marketing is used to process of designing a product or services that meet those customers' needs that you have identified. We use marketing to create customers' awareness about our products so that this one will enhance patronage. So marketing, we use it to persuade the customers to buy. So the four elements of marketing mix that I was now talking about is that the four P's of marketing mix that comprises of product, price, place, and promotion. That four P's is what we call marketing mix, and it is defined as the controllable element of marketing that we use to influence, stimulate, arouse, persuade, and influence customers' demand. We have control over them. That's the reason why we call it controllable element. So under the four P's, product, price, place, and promotion, we now expatiate a bit that the product strategy is concerned with designing a new product. We have to design a new product. We can adapt a new product. We can modify a new product. So our product have to be well packaged, well labeled, well branded, and the quality must be intact, and that quality must be consistent. So that means the company have to put in place total quality control. Price strategy. The price strategy, price means the price at which we sell our products to the consumers. And this our price, we have to ensure that we don't exploit the customers in time of price. So our price is also the amount of money the customers pay in exchange for goods and services. So price is a determinant of the company profitability. So we must ensure that we choose the right pricing strategy that will give the company profit. And that pricing strategy that we have chosen will not exploit the customers or chase the customers away. We have so many pricing strategy. Penetration pricing strategy means selling at a lower price. Scheme, SKIM, scheme pricing strategy, selling at a high price. We have odd pricing strategy. The odd pricing strategy means we are selling at odd price. Very common in supermarket or hypermarket. Selling at 99 naira, 99 kobo. We have promotional pricing strategy. Whatever pricing strategy that we are using is have to be reasonable. Anytime you see place strategy under the marketing mix, place means distribution. That is the meaning of place under marketing mix. We must use distribution strategy that is effective. Distribution strategy that will guarantee prompt delivery of the product to the customers at different destinations. We must use a distribution strategy, place strategy, that will bring about satisfaction, the delivery of the product at the right time, at right quantity, at right quality, to the right place. That is what we call place strategy. And you can see what I just mentioned here is it, that a place strategy might be used to gain a foothold in the market. Place strategy should provide the following satisfaction or utility. One, place utility. Time utility, making the product available at the right time. Form utility, make the product available in the form in which it is needed. And possession utility, creating valuable exchange. Promotion strategy. Promotion strategy means that using all the promotional elements of a company to achieve results. Some of the promotional elements are promotion, direct selling, sponsorship of events. That is what we call a combination strategy. A push strategy is aimed at getting the distributors to buy the product. We specifically sponsor an intermediary to stock and distribute our product. That's what we call push strategy. But when it's come to pull strategy, PUSS, begging the customers to buy our products, appealing to the customer, that's what we call pull strategy. PULL. And at the same time, we can use celebrity endorsement. We all know that that is what is invoked now. Companies are using celebrity endorsement and event sponsorship. The likes of Davido, Funke Akindele, Biscuit, and many more. to promote their product. And we can see BB Nigeria and some other things are part of the event sponsorship. I put some questions that covers